Good morning, guys. Right here where I am now, in close to Madrid, it's morning, and I have a couple of minutes before going to work. So I wanted to use those to share some insights on how to meditate or how not to meditate, and what helps and what doesn't help. So one of the things I remember since like 15 years ago, when I tried to meditate, and I had high levels of anxiety and depression episodes, I noticed that I sometimes couldn't focus, like probably on anything, and sometimes when I was well enough to focus, um, I felt blissful only when I was doing the meditation. So, and I thought that that's basically the idea of the meditation, and what was considered to be a proper inner work, right? And so between these two experiences, when you feel really good during the meditation and afterwards you feel miserable again in your normal everyday life, and the other one was when you felt even worse when you were meditating because you notice your thoughts and emotions going 100 times faster and more intense. So one important thing that I've learned in the past 4 years about what meditation is it's not pushing away the negative feelings or emotions, but it's coming back to the object of concentration. So that kind of like loosens up the glue between who we think we are and our consciousness and the thoughts and thought processes and emotions, right? So you all the time come back to the object of concentration, and that with time gradually makes you aware that you are not those thoughts and emotions, and that they might as well disappear because you are focusing on something else. And you learn, like a muscle, you train the ability to come back to the object of concentration. Like, that's a huge deal. Like, usually you need someone guiding you. I was watching Thursday night satsangs of Krishna Das and singing with him the mantras, and that was basically what was my practice for several years, the only practice I could do.
Yeah, so singing with Krishna Das was the only thing that I could do before I tried other practices and they didn't click with me. And that's where I started to build my practice like that. Well, it kind of like came to me. I didn't really look for it. It just found me, I could even say, if that makes sense. And one thing that, yeah, as I said, you need someone to guide you in the beginning, whether it's kind of like Spotify channel, like some podcast channel that gives you regular information and in a repetitive way gives you the technique and kind of like helps you with the doubts, or some meditation circles, or even a private teacher like a meditation instructor. So you definitely need someone helping you in the beginning with that. And when you see that you've picked it up, the practice you're doing it's completely kind of like it's strong and regular, then you might as well stop going to a teacher. But in my experience, keeping yourself in a loop with similarly thinking people it's really helpful, actually. And it's one of the things, if you find your group for a spiritual practice, it's a big blessing. And yeah, and now also I'm doing other practices because I've kind of like trained that muscle to be able to pay attention. You can pay attention to your belly rising and going down while you're breathing, and that's also a very good concentration meditation. Also, I'm doing japa, which is kind of like counting a very simple mantra. There are years of what I've felt and gone deeper into using mantras that I can't explain in a few videos, but just for the purpose of this video, you just focus on the sound of the mantra, when you float away in thoughts or feel emotions, you just come back to this sound, just a literal sound of the mantra. And it can be any mantra really. And the japa is kind of like you recite it quietly under your breath, and you sometimes, if you want to, you can use the beads just to count how many times you repeat that mantra without the need of any real number, right? It just helps you to kind of like anchor your attention into something physical as well. So these three practices that I'm doing with chanting, with japa, and with breathing are the main ones. I have to mention another one, which is metta meditation. It's called loving kindness meditation, where you work intentionally with beneficial thoughts and wishes for yourself and for others. So the one that I'm doing, that comes from Sharon Salzberg, is may all beings be safe, may all beings be happy and joyful, may all beings be healthy and have enough to eat, and may all beings in this universe live with ease and peace of heart. And when you wish that, you include yourself. You can work on yourself, repeat all these things and really feel them. You can work next on people that are nice and beneficial to you, and loving and benevolent. You can later move on to neutral people, somebody that you kind of like have seen maybe but don't have any real relationship with. And you can then move on to someone that is really on your case, right? That you don't like at all. You can even call it an enemy. And I've done that, and it really relaxes the interaction with the world later, and kind of like takes off the rough edge with the negative interactions that I've had, and kind of like helps a lot more to understand yourself and other people. I mean, there's so many layers to this practice, and while you're doing it more and more, it just kind of like relaxes and soothes you. It kind of helps you to open your heart, and that's what really we want, right? We want love in this life. We want happiness, and this is one of the most important practices to do. So I think I'm going to dedicate another video for each of these. See you next time, and have a good day.